he would, of course, ask the Congress to reconvene.
Then that gives every Democrat a chance to go through the cash, you see?
And you see, well, hell, now, I'm always totally frank about these things. The Prime Minister of Japan has just given out an interview, which may or may not be true, but he made tonight this afternoon to the Swiss Knowledge of the INS papers, in which he says that Japan would regard it as an act of war if we were to give aid and comfort to any of the enemies of Japan. Now, what do you mean? What does the word attack mean? I don't know. It's perfectly possible, not the least bit probable, but I mean it's a Jack Garner would say it's a 1 in 10 shot, that Hitler and Mussolini and Japan might feel that if they could stop American munitions from flowing to England, planes, guns, ammunition, and so forth, that they could lick England. Now, they might send us an ultimatum. If you continue to send anything to England, we will regard that attack on us. I say, I'm terribly sorry. We don't want any war with you. We have contracts, and under our neutrality laws, any belligerent has the right to come and buy things in this country and take them away. They thereupon say, well, if after such and such a date you are continuing to ship munitions to England and planes, we will regard you as a belligerent. Well, now, what have we got to say on that? They have cause turn, I say. I'm terribly sorry. We don't consider ourselves a belligerent. We're not going to declare war on you. If you regard us as a belligerent, we're practically sorry for it, but we don't. Now, all we can say to you is that, of course, if you act on that assumption that we're a belligerent, and make any form of attack on us, we're going to defend our own. Not war, we're going to defend our own, and nothing further.
In other words, they're trying to spot you.
Now, if that happens, of course, there'll be, if that situation takes place, we say, we're not a belligerent, we're not fighting you, we're not at war with you, but we decline to change the laws of the United States. We're going to defend ourselves and our present policy of neutrality. That's all we've got. Now, there'll be in this country, if that happens, a great deal of scared feeling, panic. There's going to be a lot of people that will say, my God, we ought to keep some of these planes back here. We haven't got enough of these planes to defend ourselves. We ought not to send every other plane over to England. We haven't got enough anti-aircraft guns for Boston, and New York, and Washington, D.C. Sure, it's perfectly true. And there'll be a demand that we pull right inside of ourselves, and keep everything we're making for our own defense.
That's what they're saying.
And that's just what they want to do. Now, this morning, it's a terrible attack on Lehman, because what Lehman said is good, that the Axis powers, there's no question about it, would give anything in the world to have me licked on the 5th of November. And the Times yesterday morning comes out with one of those editorials. Well, what Lehman said. Well, how did we get that way? What do you mean that the Axis power wants to keep the president? Why, you're insinuating that They are taking a course of interference in our local affairs, and they and Wilkie had some kind of an arrangement. Little Lehman said, no, I such a thing about they and Wilkie have an arrangement. I am merely making the statement that they want our defeat. Times said, well, I'm not hard at saying a dreadful thing like that. This morning, front page of the Times, Herbert R. Matthews, Rome, October 3rd, while it's the New York Times. Moreover, this is about this meeting of Hitler and Mussolini. Moreover, and this ought to be used. I don't know if Steve was going to tell Jimmy about it in the Senate. Don't know if he can get in the House, get it can. Moreover, the Axis is out to defeat President Roosevelt, not as a measure of interference in the internal policy of the United States, but because the President's foreign policy and because of everything for which he stands in the eyes of the Italians and Germans. The coming United States election is realized to be of vast importance to the Axis. Therefore, the normal strategy for the Axis is to do something before November 5th that would somehow have a great effect on the electoral campaign. Now, that isn't substantiation for what Lehman said.
He's writing from Rome.
What?
He's writing from Rome.
Writing from Rome.
They didn't say anything about Landon's statement where he deliberately accused you. I was fired with him because I had a very high regard for him. I didn't think Landon would stoop so low as even for political reasons to make the statement, the deliberate statement that you were trying to drag the United States into war. You saw that statement, didn't you, Mr. President? I thought that was vicious.
Well, now, I mean, that's a damn good thing, because that's quoting the front page of the Times against the editorial page of the Times. It is very amusing. We'd give anything in the world to get that fellow elected. Of course, the trouble with Wilkie, as you know, in the whole campaign, the reason he's losing, is that he will say anything to please the individual or the audience that he happens to talk to. Makes no difference. Now, he's promised first. JPM and so on come in and say, now, Mr. Wilkie, please, will you, if elected, do that and so. Of course I will. And somebody else comes in and you say, of course I won't.
That is the most music thing of that fellow. The weapon that he grabs and he swings from one end to another. Now, of course, the people that nominated him wanted him to come out and say what in his heart that he wants to repeal the day jobs on the National Labor Relations Act.
Sure.
Because yesterday here, day before,
yesterday
or day before, he said that the first thing to do without amending the law was to pick up this conspiracy. Matter of fact, this is what promised to be several weeks ago. She said, you know what, Mr. Wilkie reminds me of? I said, well, I'd like to get your reaction. She said, he reminds me of a comedy about one of those men who you know is sneaking you, but wants to get you in to get some money. And you know he's not telling you the truth only to get your money.
Now, old Sam Roosevelt was in this morning. Fixing up with him. Going over the final draft of those dedication speech tomorrow at Free Schoolhouse. And he got off a very searching remark and never told him so long. Did you realize that Wilkie is using the tactics of Hitler? Tactics. Hitler special. And that's based on the iteration and reiteration of the same thing. So often that after a while people don't believe it. I'm going to put 9 million men at work. I said, oh, that's nice. That night, I'm going to put 9 million men at work. That's very, very nice. And after he said it 30 or 40 times, he said, I'm going to make a real issue about this. I want to be going to put 9 million men to work. Wilkie, the fellow's going to put 9 million men to work. I'll vote for it. It's the iteration. Promise. Every single morning, noon, and night. Same thing. People after a while get to believe it. And, of course, on the strategical end of things, I said in about 1st of August I said, you watch these polls, you watch the Republican timing of this campaign. I think the polls could be possible, maybe crooked. They're going to show Wilkie pretty good shape for the part of office. Then they're going to put him through a bad slump. So that I'll be well out ahead on the 1st of October. And my judgment is that they are going to start Wilkie picking up from the 1st of October on. Well, you know what a horse race is. It's like what they're going to do is to have their horse 3 lengths behind coming around into the stretch. And then in the stretch, in the first 100 yards, he gains a length. In the next 100 yards, he gains another length. And give people the idea that this fella still can win. He's got time to win. He can nose out the other horse. Grand sacrifice. Now, I don't know whether that's the game, but I'm inclined to think it is. I'm wrong on my date. They didn't start at the 1st of October. Next Sunday, in the ballot poll, we'll have a great many, too many votes handed to us. 500. Great many too many.
Well, I tell you,
they're giving us no hand.
I think
they're giving us Massachusetts and Rhode Island. They'll probably put Connecticut and Delaware.
There's one underlying thought that I think you focus on. I think the descendants of the early Anglo-Saxons, they're great Americans, don't particularly love England, but they hate Hitler. Now, I find up our way a trend among people that never voted for Democrat. They're voting for President Roosevelt. They're not voting for any other Democrat. We have men, we have cases of men who are lifelong Republicans. They're declaring for the president on foreign affairs.
I know.
Because they know that you're the expression of their views.
Yeah. And they ought, and this is perhaps the way it follows of the thought, that old Anglo-Saxon element who composed most of the undergraduates at Harvard College or through New England. I'm hoping they'll offset the Italian defection.
You can bring it back.
I think.
Because listen, I find
I'm speaking on the 12th of October.
There's a weakening there, and I said to them, listen.
If the state wants to speak to him, he said he thinks that the speaker and the leader would like to hear what he wants to work out. The situation is very important.
I ain't going to make a difference. I'm talking on Columbus Day about Columbus being an Italian, splendid nation that contributed so much to all of our civilizations, fine stock, and so forth and so on, like the Latin Americans, Spanish Americans. I think they begin to come back. I had a talk.
I know they commenced to say now, well, the president has taken a clip from Mussolini, and he probably was justified. I find that. What do you know? And the little stock. I said to the witness,
Well, keep on quick. Some of the Italian street.